Hey everybody, it is Jynnette The Oracle, and welcome to Oracle Talks. I missed you guys. As you can probably hear, I'm a little congested because I am getting over a cold. Your girl has been down and out for the count. But I'm on the mend. I'd actually feel well. I'm just clearing out the rest of my sinuses, but I didn't want to go another week without having some kind of message come through. So with that being said, because I do want to make sure I conserve my energy for the group programs that I'm running tomorrow, this will be a shorter monthly message for May. So I'm not going to be getting into the astrology, but the May 2026 astrology report will be coming out on Monday for newsletter subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed to the newsletter, definitely go and check that out. At the website, obviously in the description below, to be able to get that, or you can read it on the blog when it drops later. But I definitely recommend doing the newsletter because you get to stay connected with me, right? But yeah, so that's what's going on. So I ask for forgiveness in advance if you hear me sniffling or if I'm coughing a lot. For the most part, I should be fine. It sounds worse than it actually is, as usually happens, but I am good. So anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. The day I'm doing this live stream is the day before Uranus officially goes into Gemini. So if you are new here, you may not know, I actually just completed a series on Uranus in Gemini. I did 3 separate videos looking at relationships, money, and spirituality. So I highly recommend checking that out. You can find those in the Oracle Talks playlist or in the Planets playlist, because I did create a separate playlist just for a lot of the major planetary transits that are happening this year, because they are the beginning of brand new cycles. So I have stuff on Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, North Node in Aquarius coming up, etc. So yeah, check out that playlist. um, and then last thing is the featured service for this month is the Visioning Strategy service. So that is good for those of you who are considering starting your own business, whether you want it to be something that fully takes over and replaces your full-time job, or if it's something that you just want to have on the side, doesn't matter. But that's a good session to brainstorm some ideas, to really get ahead of potential issues or obstacles before they become issues or obstacles down the road. Talk about ways to get yourself set up, etc. And of course, to tap into purpose and spirit messages and all that kind of stuff, because all of that matters for me in terms of people being in business. So if that speaks to you, that is a service that I recommend. Of course, I do also have other one-on-one sessions, but what I've been doing more recently is to specifically focus on a particular type of service, to just kind of have that more centered in folks' mind if they're not sure how they particularly want to engage with the work and the service that I provide with Anderson Alchemy. So with that being said, welcome to folks who are new. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like and comment and share, of course. Welcome back to folks who are returning. It is good to see you. For today, I am going to be doing messages for all 12 signs. It's actually been a little while since I've done that, so I'm excited to actually do this. I already have the cards out because, again, I don't want to stay long on this because I want to preserve my voice and kind of get back into the swing of things. But what I'm going to do a little different today is actually I'm going to go through each of 12 signs, but I'm going to go by their modality. So we're going to address the cardinal signs first, then the fixed signs, then the mutable signs, and there will be timestamps. So you obviously can go back and reference as you need. Whenever I do these kind of like individualized messages for the signs, What I recommend people focus on is the rising sign information first, primarily, if you know your time of birth and that is able to be calculated. If you don't, it's fine. Then your sun sign, then your moon sign, and then your north node sign. So all four of those, again, if you don't have your time of birth, you'll just have the three, but three or four of those, I highly recommend gathering that information. If you want to go further, um, you know, listening to the message for where the current north node is, listening to the message for the current zodiac month that we're in can also provide additional information depending on what's there for you. If you really like to hack your natal chart, you can listen to the signs that begin specific houses if you want insight into those areas in your life. So it really is going to depend on um, how you want to use the info, but those are my recommendations. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with the cardinal signs first. The excuse me. The general theme that I was picking up for the month of May energetically was about it being a season of change. Which is interesting because we don't necessarily think about May as a time of change, even though obviously Gemini season starts in the latter part of it. But um, it feels like the wheel turning, or we can like be more conscious and cognizant of that. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I am remembering that we do have Beltane on the 1st of May. It's Beltane in the solar context as well as a lunar Beltane, which is one of the 8 sacred points on the calendar in the year. So that's probably why that energy is also really coming through. So thank you, Spirit, for that context. So this is a really important time. Obviously, that is just one day, but this is a message for the month. And if that energy is coming through so strongly, it's important to hear. Um, I already mentioned about how Uranus is officially transiting into Gemini in tropical astrology, not other systems, but in tropical astrology it is. So that is also a big shift, a big change, and of course Gemini energy. So yeah, it context is now making sense. The things are clicking. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with that. So let's get started with Aries. And Aries, you have the Six of Cups. So this is the message for you to all these cards, of course, are going to be about how to best engage and proactively interact with this energy to get the most out of your growth, your desires, etc. So I think that's the Six of Wands, Six of Cups is your card. Now this can talk about nostalgia. It can talk about just general remembrance. The cups do talk about the heart and the emotion, the past, the childhood, etc. What I was getting from that card, though, is this message about you do already have what you need. So if there is a sense in you, a compulsion in you, behavior in you that is seeking, maybe just kind of running on automatic or whatever, but looking to like acquire more, like, oh, I need more information, I need one more certification, I need, one more opinion, etc. This isn't the energy for that for this month. That's not the guidance for this month. It's the Six of Cups. Um, you know what this is. This is pattern recognition. Um, you know what worked or what didn't work. If this is a positive pattern, a negative pattern for you. You also have the skills, experience, and whatever access to resources that you need to do whatever it is that you need to do. But this is giving me what you need is there at home rather than needing to go and acquire it. And this is a the vibe within this context is about like being reminded of that. And it's important for you to focus on that and to see that this month and to lead with that. Um, what's also interesting with it that's coming through now, um, that may be there for you, Aries, is this sense of, or this idea perspective that you don't know enough. Um, like this, like you might think you are naive to a situation, but that's not true, and that's coming through because this dragon is handing this to this child. But I'm getting that you literally feel like the child within whatever this context is, um, or you're showing up in that way. But you're being handed a skull. It's a really mature thing. It's so there's something here about a shift in perception about who you are and your experience and what you know that's really coming through strong with this. Another thing with this is that it's giving me the vibe of focus as well. You're being given one thing to focus on at a time, or one thing to be aware of, to not be distracted by whatever else is going on. So take that as you will. All right, so we have Cancer next. So Cancer, the fellow cardinal sign, is Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, I was just talking about change, and we literally have the major arcana card for change here, sitting down. So normally for me in my interpretations with the card, at least in the past, has been that the major arcana represents the diviner, that which is outside of you, turning the wheel. Um, in context where this is given as advice, especially for something like this for the month ahead, this is you proactively um, taking on that role, and in this case, like taking on the role of turning the wheel. So what this tells me, if this is coming up, is that for cancers, where we're, again, this isn't your chart, you may have been in a time where the wheel wasn't moving. There might have been more of a holding pattern, a pattern of stabilization, etc., finishing up things, transition, etc. Um, the transition energy is different than this, um, is what I'm feeling. This is feeling like a door or doors are opening, and you have the opportunity now to actually be able to make moves in places or in circumstances where there has been a holding pattern outside of your control. Those things have been removed. Um, and so like if you feel in your body and your sense and your intuition are like, I think things are getting better. I don't necessarily have physical evidence for it kind of vibe showing up within you. That's what this is kind of talking about. Like that is saying, yes, that is true. Like you're picking up in the spirit what actually is the case within your environment, even though you're not directly seeing the apparent evidence of it. You're getting wind of it because it's just outside of your direct experience. It's there, but it's just like a little broader out of the field of being able to pick up and perceive. So spirit is saying like, okay, this is now the time to take the wheel, start putting in that effort and that energy to shift things in the direction that you want them to go. This is that month to put in that effort. This isn't necessarily to say that you get what you want within this month, but this is the month to be proactive in building that momentum again, in those places where there hasn't been momentum. It could be one place, it could be many places, but take that as it resonates for you. That's your guidance for this month. For who's gonna be next? It's gonna be Libra. Libra, of course, is the cardinal air. So you have your card. This is the Libra card, which is hilarious. In this deck, it's card number 8, but this is the Justice card. This is Libra. Again, another major arcana card. So, like I said, normally this would be the divine doing its thing and you just reaping the benefit from that or just being at effect to that. But in this situation, this is how you are to be showing up, and you are to be showing up as yourself. Or that which is true to your nature. So the Justice card is, to be clear, like I know that Libra is associated with various things, especially because it is co-ruled by Venus, co-rules. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I hate being sick. Co-rules Taurus and Libra. And some of the aspects of Libra don't actually show up in the Justice card. The Justice card is a very specific kind of energy. This is about law, about contracts, balance, fairness, harmony. That which you bind yourself to and that which you are bound to. Now, whether that ends up turning into Devil card energy, which is like being bound by something that you are trying to get out of, right? This is both being bound by things, entering into bounds, contracts again, etc., as well as the bounds of playing within a particular context, particular group, relationship, family dynamic, job, business culture, right? It's those kind of things, like the rules of engagement, almost, if you will. So this is an interesting card to get in the context of this change, because what's coming through right now is you have this dragon here perched up looking down at what's being presented or what's around, and there definitely seems to be a consideration of, okay, what do I actually want to tie myself to contract myself to agree to develop cords with, right? To speak about, we talk about cord cutting when you want to like clear something out. But when you're creating new contracts, when you want new relationships, when you want new jobs, when you want whatever, that is cord building, that is binding to something, right? So there is a consideration of like, okay, well, what do I want to bind myself to? What are the pros and cons of that? That's the vibe that I'm getting for this message for you, Libra, this month. If that's coming up, then that means, you may be already in a situation where options are just being brought to you, and you're considering that. And or it could be a situation where you are actively seeking new things, new contracts, new relationships, new business ventures, new job promotions, new homes, whatever. And within that process, you're like, okay, well, what are the pros and cons of this? This is also very easy to see in a dating context. It's like, okay, whether I have a suitor coming to me or if I'm actively looking for someone to be with, is okay, well, what is it that I want? What am I willing to deal with? What I'm not willing to deal with? Like that. That's what this is. Okay. Yeah, and it's making those decisions. And in order to do that effectively, like, you have to be true to yourself, because this still is your card. So this isn't a this isn't about binding yourself without consideration of yourself and not negotiating well for yourself and what you actually truly need and desire. Um, because maybe in the past you would engage or bind yourself to, person, place, or thing, um, just because the idea of the thing or the association with the thing, person, place, or thing, um, was mentally tantalizing, was good enough, put you in the vicinity, in the air, in the aura, without maybe necessarily giving you material or inner fulfillment gain from that. So yeah, take that as you will, Libra. Okay, so now we have Capricorn, our last cardinal sign, and we have Three of Cups here. Excuse me. All right, so we're back to Cups. So Aries had the Six of Cups, you have the Three of Cups. Now, this is a group of people, right? Three of Cups usually talks about celebration. On the positive side, on the negative side, I can talk about gossip. It's interesting as I look at that. Everybody but the dragon has a cup. And I'm not sure if you are the dragon or if you're one of the people holding the cup. Interesting. Okay. So within this context of this vibe of great change and taking advantage of the change that is predominant for May. For you, Capricorn, what I'm getting with this is actually seeing and perceiving and taking note of those who are farther along or who have or experience exactly what you want or close enough to what you want. Being a place where you keep your focus and start to get clear about who you're going to, not even necessarily who, how you're going to position yourself to be in their proximity, their environment. Now, I know I touched on this a little bit with Libra, but Libra is not to be doing that. This feels like this is more for you to be doing. Excuse me, that for you to be able to leverage and take advantage of um, what's kind of like potentially opening up, or how you can again start being proactive if things are starting to move and change. Um, Relationships are important, but this is in the context of like associations and networks, not necessarily like personal, intimate relationships. Um, so not mentors, but sponsors, if that makes sense, Capricorn. And being in places again where you can be known regardless of whether or not you have an individual relationship. But yeah, there's stuff about that's important. So if this is coming up, maybe this has been a situation where you've come out of a period of time, whether it's just the past couple months or maybe the past few years, whatever situation where you haven't necessarily been as engaged, whether socially, whether professionally, or what have you, to be out and about, be seen, and not just to, be seen, but to be seen strategically with those who, again, have what you want, whatever that is, whatever the context is, right? And to put yourself in the vicinity of them, to begin associations, to begin relationship, to uh, plant the seeds for sponsorship later on. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, let me know in the comments. Speaking of comments, let me check. Oh, hello, folks. Greetings from Inglewood, sipping on water and chewing in ginger drops. I have a slight cough today too. Oh, yeah, I got normally, like, it's not to say I don't get sick. Obviously, I do, but normally, like, within 3 days, I can turn the corner and be good. But I actually have been off work. Got a doctor's note. I was like, listen. Thank you for joining. Hello from New Zealand. Oh, New Zealand. I think this might be my first person from New Zealand. Thank you for joining. At least the first person that's mentioned they're from New Zealand. People might be from New Zealand, but it's the first time. So thanks for joining, y'all. Thank you for saying hi. Yeah, thank you for joining in. My name is Jynnette The Oracle. Normally I don't sound like this. It's okay. All right. So those were, again, like I said, all of the cardinal signs. I will have the timestamps after I finish the live stream, so you can go back and check those out. Again, for those who are new or joining later on, I recommend listening to rising sign, sun, moon, north node in that order. If you don't know your rising, it's fine. Okay, so let's go to fixed signs, and we will be starting with Leo. Let me start back with that. So we have the Princess of Pentacles, which is also called the Page of Pentacles in other decks. Pages are about communication, messaging, learning, as well as the beginning stage of developing mastery. So it's the Apprentice card. I'm pretty sure in this deck, this card is specifically related to desire. What I'm feeling for you, Leo, is that during this month of, again, what seems to be change, big change, but like, excuse me, Two of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune change, is, I'm getting a sense that you are either going to be taking more seriously your desires, meaning your wants, your goals, or if you've already been engaging with your dreams, goals, desires, making that more explicit or expressed, or more easily to be seen and recognized by others. Like, this is being presented. This person is not hiding in the temple. They're at the entrance, and they're presenting this. Now, of course, that could be a literal, like you showing and presenting, pitching, possibly, a creative goal or business idea, whatever, right? This could even be like, in the context of relationships, this could be asking someone like, hey, do you want to go steady? Do you want to be exclusive? Or do you want to go on a date? Like, it could be like the beginning. We love consent, right? So it could be many things with that. So like I said, either you picking up something and giving attention and taking more seriously goals, dreams, desires, or if you've already been engaged with that, taking it a little bit more to the next level. It's not a big step. It's just whatever the next right step is very much the vibe here. I would say the key word for you that's coming through actually right now, Leo, for this as a simple takeaway that's there is attention. So maybe that word will help click what is needed is attention um, to magnetize the energy. Okay, so we're going to go next to Scorpio. Scorpio, you have the Six of Pentacles, so we have another Pentacles card. This is interesting. Six of Pentacles talks about success. It's also a card of balance and harmony for me. In this particular deck, this Six of Pentacles has more of a vibe of the Six of Wands in like more classical tarot decks because this has an element of being recognized and celebration. Whereas typically in other more traditional tarot decks, the Six of Pentacles doesn't have that connotation layered in, but it does here. So I'm just mentioning that just to bring out that difference because it may resonate for you. Scorpio, interesting. You may need to hear right now that your audience, your environment, your market is ready now to see what you've been working on. Or if you need connections, resources, etc., to begin a project, something that you want to work on, that's there to tap into. That's what I'm getting. So that seems to be the focus for you this month. Let's think about this in different contexts. In work, this could be maybe you have a big presentation coming up and you're kind of like worried about that. You know, it's obviously there's going to be that kind of stretch, but it is stress, but this is your time to shine. And it's important to see it as that because they are wanting to see your magic, so to speak. Like this isn't the time to be shy. So you bring your flair to things. That actually is going to bode well for you to take advantage of this change energy. If this is, well, if this is a relationship thing, maybe this is an announcement about your relationship to close friends and family. Because maybe you're like, yeah, I'm serious about this person. This could be an expression of new identity as well. I'm feeling a lot of that. Now and that's for more so that first context that I was speaking about, being the recognition and celebration part. The second part though of, if you are needing to begin something, the audience, the resources, etc., is there for you to ask for help, to ask for a connection, ask for this resource, ask for labor, like, hey, do you want to come in on this project? This is what I have in mind. There is enough around you now to actually like catalyze that and get the ball rolling. So again, this could be a situation similar, I think, to like the Cancer energy I referenced earlier with the Wheel of Fortune. This could be a situation where things might have been put on hold for whatever reason, health issues, job stuff, whatever. Things outside of your control, or maybe you just needed to have a little bit of a break. And that driven energy that can show up for Scorpio may have been, again, put to the side a bit or like put on the back burner, dimmed down a bit. This is now the month where it's time to like come out and be like, okay, I'm back this is what I have in mind, this is what I have planned, who's with me, or whether that's like literally going on a full walk with me or, putting in a good word, opening a door, that kind of vibe. So I really like this for you, Scorpio. I like Scorpio in a creative space because it's a place that really not only puts you in your power, but also puts you in your joy and playfulness. And it's deeply nourishing to your inner waters. I think more so than any other sign when you go after what you want and you really believe in yourself. I could talk longer about that, but I'm gonna move on because I don't know how long my voice is gonna last. So, all right, so let's move on to the next fixed sign. Let me get this timestamp. This is gonna be Aquarius. So we have Nine of Cups. We have a 3, 6, and 9 of Cups. There may be some connection with Aries and Capricorn, Aquarius, just let you know. All right, so 9 of Cups for you is your message. And again, the vibe for the month is about this really like important change. And yes, for the witchy folks, this is Beltane, lunar Beltane that's coming up at the beginning of the month. So it is an important time of the year. This is interesting because this dragon is doing a deep dive to find treasure, to find what others have not been able to encounter before. Yeah, this is interesting, Aquarius. So I feel like Aquarius, this is the month where you need to do a deep dive into um, what's really in your depths, in particular your emotional depths. And I know that you don't want to dive into your emotions. You don't like that. It feels overwhelming. You like to be the water bearer, not the water succumber. Like you. uh, but this actually feels like Scorpio type work. Scorpio's not doing your work this month. This feels more like Aquarian type work, the Six of Pentacles for them. For you, this feels like you need to do that like deep dive work. That's what's there for you. And this could be so many different contexts. This could be doing a deep dive on your finances. You might not be someone that likes to really look at your money like that, to really have honest conversations about that. And not, again, in the sense of knowledge accumulation, but in the sense of what actually are the behaviors and the emotional blocks that are underlying how I'm doing what I'm doing with my money, right? Very different thing. Um, and where am I able to get through things or not get through things? This could be relationships, this is cups. So this could be relationships. This could be, again, it's not information accumulation. It's what's really there, what has been going on, what's here at the bottom of the ocean. That I have not been wanting to address and deal with. And the acknowledgement and the dealing with is not a mental exercise. And this is where this is difficult for air signs in general. Y'all struggle with this. It is what it is. We know that, but it is what it is. You struggle with this. I would also say water signs struggle with this too, even though they are emotionally don't necessarily like to go to their depths. But air signs in particular really fight it. And this is not the kind of thing where you can process intellectually. You can get a framework. You can be part of a container that you hold mentally, and that you can be held by maybe someone that you're talking to. Um, but the only way to actually be to actually deal with it, to move through it, be liberated from whatever is there, is to feel it. It has to be felt. The water actually has to move, and that means you have to be in the water. Not the water, not the air on top of the water is not water current. Okay, air moving the top of the water is not the water current in the depths. And the processing has to happen in the currents. And that's what needs to happen here for you. Again, this could be creativity, your artwork. What keeps showing up? Positive, neutral, and negative. This is feeling more so like you need to go look for some. Because at the end of the day, though, there is light here. There is something key here that can be used to your benefit once you do that work. Even though like the prospect of doing that can seem overwhelming, and it might feel overwhelming in the process, depending on what's there. But on the other side of it, there is a benefit. There is buried treasure. So Spirit is saying like there is gold here for you. There is treasure here for you. But the only way you're actually going to get it and access it is to do that work. And this is not intellectual work. Being smart is not going to help you in this process. I love you, Aquarius. I cackle because I have a lot of air in my chart, so I understand. I get it. I get it. All right, so let's get to fixed Earth, which is going to be, of course, Taurus. All right, and we have Queen of Pentacles here. Earth sign energy. We have a lot of pentacles in this fixed chart, which makes sense because it's fixed energy. The cardinals had like the major arcana energy. This is close to being your energy. The queens are the cardinal energies in the court cards. The kings are the fixed energy, so it's not quite your card. This is actually Capricorn, technically, within the context of tarot, but well, in a particular system of tarot, it's not, doesn't have to be that, but anyway, tangent. This is giving me a similar vibe to the Leo message with the Princess of Pentacles. This is definitely the next step, at least from here. It's not the next step in the core cards, because it would be the knight in the middle. But this definitely is feeling like the next step, actually. It may be helpful for you to reference that the Leo message just for context, but as a foundation for like where you've been, I think that you've actually completed this process that Leo was being asked to go through and to actively engage with. I think for you, you were at a place where it's like, okay, now I'm ready to negotiate. That's the word that's actually coming through, is negotiation. So it's, I have enough of whatever this thing is to now be able to start making moves. So in the context of relationships, this could be, oh, I have enough time with this person where now I can start having a conversation about, okay, what does it mean or look like to get married or to move in together or what have you. This could be like, I know what I bring to the table at work, and I am going to go after this particular promotion that is a significant jump from where I am, right? This could be, maybe you are, uh, in talks with a group of colleagues. Maybe you guys are starting a business together and you're all at that phase of divvying up responsibilities, profit sharing, that kind of thing. And you're like, cool, this is this is where I am, what I want. It's that kind of vibe. So however the context is going to be for you, but it feels like, okay, now you're in a position to negotiate because you're clear about what you're bringing to the table, you're clear about the worth. Um, and yeah, this is feeling very much like, especially like with the cardinal energy, being out and about in the exchange of what you bring to the table, rather than being passive and just being like, I'm just going to chill in my position. No shade, Taurus, is like, fixed signs. Like if you have something that's working, you're just going to stay in it. You don't necessarily have that compulsion like a air sign, a mutable sign is, to find something new if it's already working and providing you a certain kind of stability, like if it's doing what it needs to do. Um, but yeah, it's like you're just a little more pep in the step, so to speak, for you. So, um, and this also might be, the fact that Uranus is shifting out of your sign. It's just like, oh, you might feel a little bit of a yoke coming off of your shoulders with that. So it's just like, oh, okay, let me peruse now and see what's going on. So, but that keyword that's coming through is negotiate. It's like, what can I do with this? Let's talk about it. I like it. Cool, cool. Welcome, welcome. Greetings, Sally, just joining from NC, drinking water and coffee. Welcome, welcome. All right, so now we're going to mutable signs. So let's do, where am I? Air signs. Oh, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, where are you? Again, so for folks who are coming in late, I'm going by modality. So I'm ending with mutable signs, but I will have timestamps at the end. So, Sagittarius, you have a 10 of Pentacles here. This is interesting, given, again, the vibe is about change this month. So, in both this deck as well as traditional tarot, 10 of Wands, hopefully I didn't say 10 of Pentacles, but 10 of Wands has to deal with carrying a burden. It is about completion, but it is carrying a burden to its end. And it's like having to give that. Well, I guess, yeah, it's going to depend on the deck, because in the traditional deck, you would be pushing to complete the task, because that person in the like the Rider-Waite deck is going somewhere. Here, though, this person, the dragon, is trying to go somewhere, but it's actually being weighed down. So, Sag, this is interesting as like your guidance. I'm pausing because I find it odd that you wouldn't know what would weigh you down, because you're a very intelligent sign. Um, I feel like if something is actually like hindering you, you would be hyper aware of it and be actively working to deal with it. So, uh, I mean, unless this is something that is unconscious or something that you don't want to deal with, that you don't think is a big enough deal to face, that's actually hindering you, that could be the case. Um, One second. I'm doing pretty good. I haven't well, knock on wood, I haven't sneezed. So just from the dry cough. Um, Now I should say, actually, and mention this is the first fire card that we've had so far. Um, it's not the only one. There is another fire as I look at the rest of the cards, and there is technically only one air in the minor arcana. Anyway, let me not get distracted. Um, as a sidebar, I can tell y'all, especially if y'all been with me for a while, I can tell y'all this next month and these next 8 years, the tangents are going to be on 100 from a girl because the Gemini energy, I love it. I have Venus in Gemini, so the tangents are going to be tangenting for these next 8 years. So I'm telling you now, I give myself an out. I'm going to be bringing myself back a lot. Um, so I'm cackling in advance because I already know. And it's going to be worse in those years where Mercury goes retrograde in air signs, because each year Mercury goes retrograde in a particular element. So it'll be worse in those years for sure. But I yeah, I already know, and I can already feel it. Because it's just so much more information that comes in that's just piques Jynnette's interest. So it's just it's gonna be fun and funny. Um, but yeah, Sagittarius, I'm actually really curious about this. Now, this could be spiritual burdens, of course, but that's not the case for everybody. So I want as broad of a context as possible for this message, because this is about what to do to take advantage of um, the energy this month. So let me get some more cards around this. Oh, I didn't even get the card. It came in. So I'll present this as saying your word is going to be focus, and focus not in the sense of just looking at one thing, but focusing your energy so that it coagulates within a particular range. Because this is, and this is why the tangent had to happen, and I had to laugh about it. The tangent energy here is this dragon that's really just trying to be up here. And where I stopped, where I was shuffling the bottom of the deck, is the 10 of cups, where you again have the energy all up wherever. Um, yeah, the message for you, Sagittarius, this month that you need to be proactive about, especially because of this energy of change, is going to be exacerbating this dragon being all over the place. And this dragon is representing your energy, your thoughts, the possibilities that you see, whatever. It needs to be bound or ground down, focused, contained. Think of this as like, a nature reserve, right? Excuse me. It needs to be grounded. It needs to be bound. When I say grounded, I don't mean necessarily like, oh, it has to be quote unquote realistic. That's why the word focus is coming through, because it's a keeping the energy. You know what? This is about keeping the energy in the solar system, right? This rock here, what you would from the outside, call a burden or whatever. This is the sun. This is the magnetic field of the sun, the gravitational pull of the sun, right? And you're one of the planets, or this is your energy, or whatever this thing is, right? Stay in the solar system. This is your friend. This is keeping you safe from being flung out into the barren, cold cosmos, because it is going to be cold. You're going to be far away from the sun, the barren, cold cosmos, where you're not going to be able to have the resources of the sun, of the other planets, of the asteroids, right? That very rich ecosystem from which you can build from, grow from, develop from, right? So if you want what you say, what you want, if you desire what you say you desire, whether this is in relationships, career, job, spiritual development, what have you, stay in the solar system. This is not even like you have to stay with the planet. It's just stay in the solar system and you'll be okay. All right. And that's not a prison sentence. I can see visually and off the top of the mind, this might you might take it as that, but it's not. Like Spirit is saying, like, this is actually going to benefit you. Because if you don't do this, you're actually going to miss what's around. You're going to miss what's around. Okay. Mutable next. Where are we? Water. So this is going to be Pisces. Okay, Pisces, you actually have a Major Arcana card, and you have the Strength card. So like I was saying earlier with the other signs that got Major Arcana, normally in other contexts, I would take this as how the universe is showing up and just acting upon you, and how you essentially just kind of have to go with the flow. But for the context of these messages, this is how you are to be showing up. So you're taking charge and directing this energy. Okay. So the Strength card speaks about, well, usually the interpretation is about like being able to harness as well as manage slash control um, your baser nature or your instinctual nature, primal nature, whatever language is popular at the time, right? That definition has never really quite sat with me well. Um, so I tend to not rely on it. Uh, and what's coming through now is explicitly like going to have me say why. Because the energy here is really about respecting it and understanding that these really components of self, because they're not separate things. It's not your consciousness versus emotions versus mind. Like, it's all the same field. It's all the same soul. We just give language to describe how that energy is operating, right? Um, so, concept versus form. We understand water as concept, but we also understand water as steam, as liquid, as something solid, ice, right? We have language to describe the different states of the thing, but we know ultimately like that it's water. It's H2O. This integrated perspective is what is really coming through here for you Pisces. Um, and whatever that integration means for you is how you want to take it. So for some of you, it might mean needing to connect more, respect more, consider the wisdom of your higher consciousness, higher heart energy, soul will energy, right? And on the flip side, some of you might need to consider emotions, mind, physical body, and specifically like how, again, they relate to one another, all these various aspects, and what specifically they're bringing to the conversation, to the table of you and your life that you're living, um, that you might not have been considering or giving intel or intel attention to. So I'll give a, because this is very much obviously just going to be a very more so esoteric message because it's Pisces. I'll see if I can come up with an example in a mundane context, but what's coming through right now is spiritual. So in the aura, the what we would reference as the sixth level of the aura is a level that I refer to as the soul heart. In terms of zodiac, though, for me, this is archetypally Pisces energy. Like it's the possibilities of what could be there. It is for me the creative space. So the artist space is that space. The artist space for me is not actually like it is for others, um, the sacral or the emotional body. The idea space, the possibility space, inspiration space, innovation space for me is, again, with the zodiac connection is Pisces, but that's the sixth layer. The part that's like out of all of these possibilities, these things that are interesting, that also may be stimulating, etc., what I actually want to get into, make some more investments on, and like actively work in at various levels of investment, whether that's time, energy, money, relationships, etc., that's going to come through in the sacral, the second layer of the aura, the emotional body, etc. It's those specific desires. It's the picking of the fruit that the canopy of the tree is providing. So for me, that's that relationship. It's not the generation of the new. For me, isn't found in that lower quote unquote level. It's a place where the energy to physically manifest is found, but the what is found at the quote unquote upper level because that's being pulled from the possibilities. So hopefully that's making sense. I'm sure it does for the Pisces folks. I'm sure it does. But that's what I'm getting here is really getting clear on this relationship and how these various ways that we name parts of ourselves or aspects of how we show up and experience life, whatever that is for you, how they really relate. I just gave a context in the creative space because I'm a creative, so that comes naturally for me. Um, but whatever it is for you, there is a relationship. It's not this trying to control the other. They both have wisdom, and this is something that you're being asked to engage with directly because there's something that is either being lost in the equation or is not being utilized as much or as well as it could to be able to leverage the change opportunity that's here now. So take of that what you will, Pisces. Next mutable energy, of course, we have Gemini. Let's see. Gemini is the star of the show this month for May, as well as the next 8 years with Uranus. So come on, Gemini. Obviously, Aquarius is, oh, no. I don't know why this literally just dawned in my mind right now. How I was saying for Aquarius folks, if you were here earlier for Aquarius, about how you have Scorpio work to do this month. It literally just dawned on me that yes, Pisces, not Pisces, Pluto is in Aquarius, so like that Scorpionic work is essentially par for the course for Aquarius for this whole time that Pluto is going to be in your sign. So you're going to be forced to do this work. You're going to be forced to do this work, and I think all of these times where the other planetary energies are trining to Aquarius, this is going to be present. So, this month, obviously, but also the entire time loosely that Uranus is in Gemini. And then eventually, of course, Saturn will shift into Gemini. And I'm pretty sure Saturn will be shifting into Libra definitely before Pluto leaves Aquarius. So, yeah. All right. Gemini, back to you. Queen of Swords. Now, this is actually a Libra card. It's the second queen that we have. This is a very different energy for you. This is boss energy. I like it. Okay, so no shade, Gemini. Sorry. So sometimes Gemini energy can give me like the Princess of Swords vibe, which is regardless of gender, but it's just kind of like when you're having to express that you don't like something or don't want something, there can be a way that you express that because you don't want to cause conflict potentially or hurt people's feelings. It's a lot of managing others. That's not this vibe here. This is very much coming across like, no, I don't want that, or no, I don't like that, or yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to go in that direction. Yes, that pleases me. It's the decision without the explanation. And not squirming in the silence in between. while that decision lands. I'm holding the silence specifically so you can get comfortable with that. You see, there's all that space there. Cardinal signs are comfortable with this energy, so, you know, but you're not a cardinal sign, you're immutable. And inherently, that has a lot of accommodation propensity encoded in it. You can obviously train yourself out of that, but uh, accommodation or making nice. It's, yeah, just it is what it is. And also, when you decide something, you stick with it and you keep moving with it. You're not going to go back and forth with yourself because this might not even be an external thing. It might be an internal thing, rumination. It's just like, no, made my decision. This is what's going to be. Or, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. All right. Love it for you. All right. Last but certainly not least, my other favorite, Virgo. Three of Wands. Okay, so you are the second fire sign. Again, Sagittarius was first, but you're the second. So we have Five of Wands. Conflictual. Similar, also conflictual with the other Wands card, which is probably of note. You might want to watch the Sagittarius message. In general, when Five of Wands comes up, it can talk about competition, but healthy competition. I don't have a problem with competition. I think that it is good. Steel sharpens steel. And it can be something as innocuous as the competition that's present when you are, you know, in the job hunt. Like you are technically in competition with everybody else who is going after the same role, right? Who's interviewing, etc. Competition in dating, like you don't know who else someone is talking to when you first connect with them, like on an app or whatever. It's inherent competition. It also can be like out and out, like, you know, direct competition and fighting. But yeah, some people can consider this a bad energy, but I personally don't. Now, this also can be internal conflict, fighting within oneself. But this is your message to proactively do this month to take advantage of what very much feels like positive change energy and things starting to shift and move. Um, this almost feels like putting a stop to some distractions. Those distractions might be naysayers. Whether directly or indirectly to you, because it could also just be in the environment and you're like, I need to not have this affect my consciousness, not be subliminally interjected into my subconsciousness while I'm trying to do this thing, whatever this thing is. It could be, again, trying to have a healthy relationship and you're surrounded by people maybe at work who um, engage in relationships in a very toxic way. I mean, spiritually, this could be being around folks who like constantly have like spiritual drama going on, and that's not your experience. Um, and you just have to be like, "Ugh, I need to like separate myself a bit from the drama." So, you know, it's That's what I mean by the naysayers. It could be direct or indirect. Um, but something else that I think may actually be a little bit more relevant or useful to you, Virgo, is, and this is actually something that's been coming up a lot recently, but I've been thinking about it more so in the context of Gemini, but maybe it really is something that you need to hear. And that is about the importance of developing your own thoughts and opinions. And this is speaking directly to kind of in that realm of like naysayers of this, the group think. You see this in social media a lot as well. Um, but like, yeah, the same talking points, the same stuff being recycled, just different packaging, different branding, different marketing, but it's really the same. There's not much either original or uh, new perspectives being brought. And I think that that, in a lot of ways, is whether you realize it or not, whether you realize it or not, negatively impacts you. Because it almost is feeling like, to use a gardening reference, gardening or farming, a depleted soil, like that is difficult to grow with soil that's been depleted. That's not to say that your soil is depleted. I think that there is actually like nutrient dense soil there, so to speak. Um, but it's almost giving me the vibe of either you might actually have to more actively cut off a lot of the continual repetition of stuff that's actually not adding anything new. Yeah, that is actually what it is. Because as soon as I said that, I felt space. So you might not actually realize like how much of this is actually impacting you across all areas of life. It might just be one area, but I think it's actually all areas. Like there's the depleted energy might not be everywhere, but the impact on your life may be everywhere. There we go. Okay. Um, you might not think it's a big deal, but it actually is a big deal. It's impacting a lot. So again, the soil of your mind, the environment of your mind, the nutrients that are available there um, are being harmonized to that which is depleted externally. And it's not helpful. It's actually like a real serious hindrance I'm getting. It's blocking the space that is here in this card that came up for what's this again, Gemini. This is being blocked by this. This is a big issue for you, Virgo, because you need this in order to execute and to marshal your resources and to make progress. So take this seriously. I'm not even feeling like it's that much of a shift in behavior or action needs to be taken, because it's just like you literally can put your hand down and like stop something or severely limit something. And the benefit, the ROI is immediate, but it's something that you actually like, you have to actually keep your hand down. It's not like you put it down and you can walk away and then it's done, because this will still be an active player. This is an active player because in the imagery, this person is not dead. Like as soon as you lift up your hand, your claw, right, they will bounce back up. That depleted or repetitious energy that's not providing anything new will be there consistently. So this is a thing where you have to just keep it down. Now, Virgo being who you are, you can employ whatever you need to employ in order to have this kind of like be delegated or automated on your behalf, right? If you can. Um, or at least for this month, you may just have to, if you're not able to do that, you may have to just actively do that every single day this month to free you up, to give you the space to get what you are meant to be getting, that this is keeping you from, distracting you from, because that's what's happening. It's keeping you from what's yours. And I know you don't like that, so. All right, I think we got all the signs, yeah? Let me check comments real quick. Okay. So I do want to do a last little bit of messages for each modality. So all cardinal, are all fixed, and all mutable, just to kind of wrap up with that. And then I am going to bounce and let my voice rest. So we're going to start with cardinal first. All right. So cardinal signs, again, you had the Six of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, and Three of Cups. You have what you need where you are. Not to say that other times you might not need to acquire new things, but at least for this month, it's not actually something that is necessary or relevant. So less about trying to take on something new, but instead to work with what's already there, because it is actually enough to go with. It's time to get back out there and engage with going after what you want after a period of being in a holding pattern or what have you. Whether this is one area of life, multiple areas of life, it'll be at least one area of life, but that's obviously case by case basis. So wherever this is regarding, it's time to get back out there and to re-engage in going after, again, what it is that you want, whether that is on the spiritual side of things, the emotional side of things, relationships, jobs, business, whatever. As you go through that process, though, you are to be clear now about what it is that you want, because it's changed in that I think what you were open to was very broad. Broad meaning open to something that is cool, something that is just good enough to get you by for now, something that is really what you want, right? Like the whole gamut. But for real, what you want is that last one, what you really, really want. Not like what will just kind of hold space and make do in the meantime. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that at certain stages of life is actually important because it does help you to get clear and get more specific. This isn't that time right now. This is about like, no, actually, let me get much more honed in on what it is that I want because of this beneficial change energy. I understand because Spirit is saying, I'm going to be lined up more with actually getting closer to what I want as a whole package rather than just having to make do. Okay. So getting clear about that, cardinal signs, and then also thinking about what the long-term goals are and positioning yourself to be in the vicinity of folks who are doing that, experiencing that. Okay. This is not to say you need to make those folks your friends. They need to be your community. It's not an intimate energy thing. It can be, but that doesn't need to be the criteria. It's, again, the environment, the soil. It's just what you're around. Network, associations, group. Okay. In real talk, cardinal signs, these seem to be skills and qualities, these things that I'm talking about overall for you as a review. These are things that you are continually needing to actually work on. Which I find to be interesting now that I say that out loud. Because I think I actually have a knowledge bias, not an experience bias around the archetypes, the cardinal archetypes. But, ooh, okay. I see you, Spirit. So within these last 2 weeks, I dropped a short video about being the first and the importance of asking, what do I want out of the thing? That's popping up right now as it relates to the cardinal energy, because it's very much centered on like really honing in and focusing on again, the desire, like what you really want out of this, again, out of the possibilities, but like to not diffuse that in the pursuit of being exposed to all the options and all the paths and everything like that. Like it's actually a very difficult thing to do, and to understand like what's needed to be able to grow the environments that are needed, etc. So yeah, this is making sense, cardinal signs. And again, this is for all the cardinal Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Like I was saying earlier, I forgot which side I was saying about who was that? Pisces. About how we can think about the different zodiac signs as being literally separate things, but they're really just the same thing that we are calling different things. So in this cardinal modality, you may be like, oh, I'm Aries, or I'm Libra, or I'm Cancer, or I'm Capricorn. It's all cardinal. So all of these are important. All of these actually have to be worked on for everybody. But it's good, and I'm glad that I, I got that first message out about the being first. If I remember, I will link it here, but it should actually be under shorts here on YouTube. So check that out about what it means when you're first. Okay. Let us move on now to fixed signs. Fixed signs. So you had the Princess of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles, as well as Nine of Cups and Queen of Pentacles. So this is, of course, going to be for all the fixed signs and the same elements. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So giving more attention to your goals. And giving more attention means like there actually has to be time investment, money investment. You need to actually be working on them. This isn't a situation where you're trying to identify what it is. It's like, no, you know what it is. The energy needs to be put into it, whatever it is. With that, then actively either presenting and showing that to folks, sharing it with people, or depending on the nature of what it is that you are wanting, asking for help. Okay. Asking for resources, asking for connections. A key thing that's important, though, fixed signs, is the fact that there are emotional blocks that are there and that have been there for a while that need to be acknowledged and processed emotionally, not intellectually. It's not intellectual work, it's emotional work. And the only way, honestly, you're going to get over that hump of breaking past what you've been able to achieve, accomplish, expand into thus far is from doing that work. It's an inside job. That's going to be key to be able to negotiate well. Okay, because you'll be asking for support, you'll be trying to take things to the next step, whatever that is, whatever the context is. Again, relationships, job, work, spirit, whatever. But if you want to be able to negotiate well and really put your needs and wants strongly centered in that negotiation, you have to be able to do that work. Otherwise, you will be in a position where you will be taken advantage of, to be blunt. So if you want to break out of that cycle of being taken advantage of, you have to do that emotional work. And the emotional work is not the intellectual understanding of it. It's, oh, what am I actually feeling around this topic? And processing it, meaning feeling through it until it's like it's done around that thing. Yeah, the emotional work feels like the crux here. Fixed signs. I think the activity of working on your goals and etc. is relatively easy. You might be more timid about the negotiation process depending on how much expansion you're kind of going for, or how much exposure or expression you're going for, if this is creativity or if this is romance, right? But that secret key to unlock things is the emotional work. All right, and then mutable. So you guys have a 10 of wands, strength card, queen of swords, and 5 of wands. So mutable signs, of course, are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Okay, so mutable signs similar to cardinal. This is not the time to be um, trying to branch off into something new, acquire something new, etc. What's there for you to focus on, what is there that is available to grow and expand, is with within the purview, within the context, within the container, within the bounds of what is already there. Yeah. Meaning what's there can be leverage or be a jumping off point for whatever's next. Okay. It's not, and maybe this is something that you need to hear, mutable signs. What you need to make a change or a shift, unless it's something that's like literally divine intervention, or I'll say this, in terms of like what's actually in your direct control, is going to be something that is already within what I call your jurisdiction. It's already within your reach. It's already, essentially within your possession. Um, that's really how it works. I don't know why that need to be said, but like it's not that you have the answer for, again, stuff that's outside of your control, but specifically for things that are within your control. Um, whatever your key or keys are for liberation, um, or liberation enough, freedom enough to be able to make to the next step, you do have access to, and that is across all contexts. It might not be complete, but it is enough to be able to get you to move, even if it's a millimeter. It is enough, and it is within your purview, within your ability to do. I know capitalism will tell you otherwise, but spirit says this is what's up. I'm hearing also it's not your job to play both sides of the game, meaning your part and the part of that which is outside of your control. I feel like I can go on a tangent with mutable signs about that. And I feel like why that message is kind of coming through is it's like it's almost behaving like cardinal signs, uh in the way of like how cardinal signs can be way shores or scouts into something new. They do kind of have to like extrapolate and project. That works for them because of what of their nature. That's not something that works for you. It actually is a hindrance for you. Okay, continuing on to recap for the mutable signs. So stay in your jurisdiction, I'll say that way. Um, and understand, um, this is similar to a little bit of what was coming through for the fixed signs. Understand the conscious and subconscious and the wisdom and experience, etc., that they bring to the table and how they are to work together. One doesn't have more value than the other. It is the same. You are one soul. Okay, so that integrated perspective is really key, and it will be easier to do again if that focus is more internal versus like trying to manage, um, or outsmart external, right? It's also important to make decisions and not waffle on them to make nice. What's really important right now is actually space to think and to receive. There's a lot of energy that is wasted on the group think, group thought, group spoken space. And it is more so ideas. I'm not necessarily feeling emotion around this. It is really more so like ideas, perspectives, belief systems, frameworks, ways of doing things. Yeah, it's distracting. You need to be able to think clearly, but you also need to be able to think within what's for you to be thinking about. At least for this month. We'll see what happens for June, but and we'll definitely see what happens when we get into Aquarius season, but not Aquarius season, North Node in Aquarius transit. But um, yeah, cut out the distractions. Mutable signs, both ones that you try to create from yourself, moving outside of the confines of what you actually really need to be focused on right now, as well as the distractions of your immediate environment of just the same repeating thoughts and patterns. And it's nothing about having to convince the environment around you to be different. Again, it's not managing, shifting, changing any of that. It's you're not focused on what you need to be focused on because you're allowing yourself to be distracted by that, or just allowing it to have too much real estate within your mental property, your spiritual property, your energetic property. Okay. All right. I love how I was trying to like have this be a short message, and Spirit was like, "You fine? You over your cold? Congestion's not gonna stop you." Um. Oh yes, thank you, thank you. Yes, don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you so much for that reminder. I would appreciate it. I am now officially over 1,000 subscribers. I'm really excited about that. So we've been here for many years and we've never hit this. So yay. All right. So any questions from that? If not, I will bounce. But any questions from these messages? Like I said, I would put the timestamps in because I went by modality, not by order of Zodiac signs. So you'll need to be able to jump around for that. But any questions? I will be updating my availability for sessions shortly. So if you want to book a session, you can check on the website in a little bit. Just give me like a bit of time, but okay, I don't see any questions. So I'm going to go. Thank you all so much for being here. Like I said, if you're not already signed up for the newsletter, sign up for that because the astrology report is coming out on Monday and that will be there. Also, as a heads up, enrollment for my group programs will be coming in June, I believe, for the summer cohort of the Lightworker Incubator and Sovereign. So we're about a month out, but I want to start dropping that in the conscious awareness now because we only open up enrollment twice a year. So if it's something that has kind of been percolating on the edges, definitely check out the information about the group programs. I will begin to start talking about those in a couple weeks, more so in depth, but yeah, just lightly bringing it up again because we're going to open enrollment and going to get ready to have folks in for the next batch. This current cohort has been a lot of fun with the both programs, so I'm really looking forward to the next group of folks who are coming in. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. For those of you who are also getting over a cold, I hope you feel better as well. Definitely, stay home or whatever. It's very contagious, so just take care of yourself. But yeah, God willing, we'll all be good and feel better completely next week. And God willing, I will see you then. Okay, bye.